Hi everyone. Hi Professor Iskin. This is Global Economic Dashboard, a data-driven decision support tool leveraging Excel and Power BI for macroeconomic insights. This presentation is by Ashish Bhojwani for MIS 5460. Introduction and objective. The purpose of this presentation, this project, was to build a business analytics dashboard that tracks and compares key macroeconomic indicators globally. Goal was to help policymakers, economists, and investors to make informed decisions based on trends in GDP, inflation, and debt. Data overview. Data range is from 2018 to 2023 across global economies. Key metrics that I've used are GDP, GDP per capita, GDP growth rate, debt to GDP ratio, and inflation rate. Tools I've used are primarily Excel and Power BI. Excel for data preparation, pivots, VLOOKUPs, Power BI for interactive dashboards, and also creating relationships within Power BI. Methodology used for Excel: cleaned raw data, created pivot tables, calculated multi-year averages. Power BI linked data sets, designed visuals, added filters, and interactive elements. Approach that I used was to combine modeling and dashboarding for economic insights. This slide represents key insights for GDP. So created pivot table to summarize the raw data for GDP from 2019 to 2023. Slicer added for easy country-wise filtering and comparison. Quickly highlights top GDP countries and growth trends. Useful for spotting annual changes and long-term economic shifts. So adding slicer is another convenient way to navigate different countries and to specifically pick on any one country that the investor or the person that is using this data needs to look at. So slicer is another good way, is one of the good ways to navigate data, large data sets quickly and conveniently. The next slide is key insights on inflation trends. Off to the left, we'll see a table with conditional formatting, and then off to the right, we'll see the inflation rate trend lines chart that was created by me. So applied conditional formatting to highlight high versus low inflation years. Created a multi-year inflation matrix for 9 major economies. Used line chart to visualize inflation trends from 2019 to 2023. And as we can see, spikes observed during 2022 in most countries, followed by a decline. US, Germany, and UK showed consistent volatility post-COVID. And also to add, the chart and the table are linked to the Excel file. Updates in Excel will auto refresh the PowerPoint visuals. So any additional data that needs to be added, any updates to the data will automatically update in the PowerPoint presentation. So this creates a little bit of automation, creates a little bit of flexibility. It saves the user time in setting up the PowerPoint presentations and to be able to review data pretty quick with the updating of links. This slide represents GDP per capita versus debt to GDP ratio. Compared average GDP per capita with debt to GDP ratios across 10 countries. Created a map visualization to highlight disparities in economic output. US and Germany lead in per capita income with manageable debt levels. Japan shows high GDP per capita but also the highest debt ratio. India and Brazil have low GDP per capita with comparatively lower debt. Map helps visually compare economic strength and fiscal responsibility. And creating this map through Excel was fun, and this presents data um, in a more visually appealing way. Shows the globe, shows the map, and also highlights countries that are relevant to the table, and also shows the disparity between countries across the globe. Um, this slide is economic strength versus fiscal burden. Created a combo chart with bars for GDP per capita and line for debt to GDP. Highlights contrast between economic output and national debt levels. Japan shows high income but extreme debt. Like we saw in the previous slide, Brazil and India, lower income and lower debt, indicating those are developing countries. Visual comparisons help assess fiscal sustainability versus prosperity. Again, this chart is linked, so if any data updates to Excel will update the deck dynamically as well with the press of a single button. GDP trends by country using Power BI visuals, developed in Power BI for dynamic filtering and clean visualization, displays GDP progression from 2021 to 2023 for top global economies. US and China maintain a strong lead across all years. European nations show more stable and moderate growth. India continues um, upward momentum with rising GDP year over year. Interactive dashboards allow real-time drill downs by year and country. As we can see in the screenshot provided, you can drill down data by year and country to get more insight on the data that is being presented through Power BI. GDP growth rate comparison. Created Power BI to visualize year-over-year GDP growth rates. Strong growth observed in India and China, especially post-COVID. Developed economies like the US, UK, Germany show slower recovery. Chart helps highlight economic momentum and volatility between countries. Um, integrating data with relationships. So the screenshot, it's a screenshot of Manage Relationships section under Power BI. Use Power BI's data model view to create relationships across multiple tables. Linked tables like GDP, debt, and inflation enabled cross-report filtering for synchronized dashboards visuals. Avoids duplication or mismatch of values across different metrics. Essential for maintaining data integrity and dashboard accuracy. Decision support and conclusion. Dashboard enables data-driven decision-making across global economies, helps policymakers and investors assess risk versus opportunity, identifies stable economies for investment and trade planning, combines GDP, inflation, and debt into one platform, useful for trend forecasting, country comparison, and economic evaluation. Power BI and Excel integration ensures flexibility and scalability. Reflection and key learnings. Strengthened skills in Excel modeling, pivot tables, VLOOKUPs, and data visualizations. Learned to build relationships across multiple data sets in Power BI. Gained experience in dashboard creation, trend analysis, and storytelling. Improved ability to identify insights from raw economic data. Understood the importance of clean data structures and dynamic linking. Developed confidence in using tech to solve real-world analytical problems.